as a recap, from there to this point, I once worked with the Great Intelligence, but he tricked me, and that led to the Blizzard of the Sea special. You know what I mean. I also used to work with Chester V, until I found out his plans, so I dismissed him. I even once helped Dr. Claw until I found out what his true intentions were. Then I used to be partners with Dr. Robotnik. But when I found out he was planning on roboticizing everybody, I had to dismiss him and cut his research fund. Much to his genius. I also had an apprentice named Scarlet. But she was a good student and tended to turn evil. She went mad with power. I failed as a teacher. Then the 456, which you guys had an incident with. I revived him, but then I found out what his true intentions were, so I once again had to revive him until he escaped. Then I used to be partners with John Lumick. At first, pretty much, the Cybermen were only used to help us to make sure the sick were cured, until they came up with an evil plan to convert all humans, whether it's the sick or not. So I cut his funding. But he proceeded. Then I partnered with Lysander until I found out he was planning on destroying the world. I cut his funding too. I cut a lot of fundings. I was also responsible for actually creating the pacifistas. I also once revived Shadow, but actually not reviving him, creating him. When I was young, I was a fool to create something so evil. Then at New Punk Hazard, I actually had a friend named Belliver. But when I found out her true intentions, you guessed it, I cut her funding. Well, then I once built the brain, but I didn't know he was evil. So I tried to dismantle him, but his goons actually stopped me. Then I took part in the biofusion experiment. Professor Wilhelm Goetze, who was a good friend of mine, he only did this to actually save his son. But then people got involved and more experiments came, and it cost him his life. I also took part in the whole Diclonius thing. But when I found out his true intentions, you guessed it, I cut his funding. Then there were the nanogenes. I actually found some, and I put some in a crate, but then I lost it for some reason. I hope it didn't do anything any harm. 2-minute break. Okay, where were we? Oh yes. I even used to work with Evelyn in Della, but I found out her true intentions, so I had no choice but to hand her over to the world government. But she was freed later on that day. And Giovanni actually made me a deal, but I turned him down. And yeah, but But he stole one of my blueprints, and he actually went ahead with his plan. The fool he was. And I won't get started on Chairman Roses. I helped him a little bit, but wouldn't you know it, he turned out to be mad. So I left the project, leaving him and his men to finish it. As for Marmalade, I thought it was nice, but then I later found out his true intentions. But I couldn't report him, because no one would believe me. So that's when you guys came in. Then the prototype at Playtime Co. When I was years ago, I helped with the bigger boys initiative, and yet I still regretted it because I thought it was helping the children when they were sick. But then I found their true intentions, so I left Playtime Co. I was a fool. Willy's Wonderland, I helped build them until I found out they were actually the people that I built them for were cannibals. So I was ashamed. I even helped pretty much with Darth Vader's suit and helmet to keep him alive. And yet, well, you know the rest. I also helped with building Satellite 5 as basically the controller, although I did not know it was the Daleks. Then Jimmy actually stole one of my blueprints and used it for his own selfish reasons. The fool he was. Then I helped out at the 8th Foundation, although when I got back, it turned to get a little messy. I'm also friends with Brandon, who I helped with discovering the Void Century, as well as Cynthia, who also wanted to learn about the Void Century. Then Team Galactic. I worked for Team Galactic by force. I had no choice. I was ashamed. And the time portal was kind of my fault. But at least you got to meet Sarah Jane Smith. Dr. Hamptonville, Pure Evil, you know the rest. And I also helped with the X-Chip 1000, although I did not know what it was used for. There, that's all I'll catch up with. That was the longest one. That was the longest scene we ever did. I think we need a break.